King Island, Queenstown, Woodsdale and the Tamar Valley. 4 unique rural communities with one thing in common, a love of Australian football. It's a world of pleasure and pain, of hope and redemption, sometimes brutal, occasionally amazing, always passionate. In Tasmania, football is alive and kicking.
Football team, yeah, my football team. Well, it's the colour of your jumper, not the colour of your skin.
Queenstown is located in Tasmania's Wild West. For over 100 years, the tenuous social fabric of this mining town has been held together by Australian football played on an oval covered not by grass, but by gravel. Though the gravel holds little fear for the locals, it has always struck fear into the hearts of visiting football teams. It's been called the biggest home ground advantage in Australia.
Oh, it's unique. I mean, people condemn it, but it's something we've had to grow up with, and all the country associations in Tasmania have come around here, you know. Started here in 1896, and it was a very, very strong competition because the West Coast was one of the few places in the state where there was work. It was no good of putting grass or anything here because it was pretty hard to grow grass, particularly from the fumes from the smelters and that sort of thing that killed a lot of vegetation. But it's a unique place. We've got our lunar landscape all around us. It's something of beauty, you know.
Listen up, we've got players too tonight, right? So we're only been out about an hour and 15 minutes. If we
Brett Schultz is the coach of the Queenstown Crows. He was born and raised in Queenstown, but has played most of his football on Tasmania's northwest coast. Now, with a mining boom in full swing, he's back home running a contracting business, and he's determined to take the Crows to their first senior premiership since the early 90s.
All right, just before we announce the side, I will announce that I've kept under my hat a little bit, but the captain for the year will be Beetle. All right?
Brendan's, as we know him as Beetle, has been around the club here a long time. He's very well respected and he gets on well with all the blokes, and he's a good leader on and off the ground, so he's quite capable of being captain.
To be asked to go captain, it was a shock to start with, and I was very honoured. Yeah. Started back here as an apprentice fitter and turner and stayed on with the mine. It closed in 1994. Actually stayed on with the contractor when it did close, just to keep the dewatering of the mine and everything going. And then was here when it restarted. And I now work as an underground maintenance supervisor. Yeah, I've already done that. Put that sign on though.
Queenstown exists because of the rich ore body beneath the town. Now it produces a lot more copper with a lot less workers. And with fewer men about the place, much of the hard work of running the footy club has fallen to the women.
All right, then I'll just check in. Yeah.
Cheryl Gamble, the Crows' secretary, arrives at the club rooms early to begin her frantic round of chores.
What have you been doing?
Filling water bottles, lighting the fire, doing the grog run over to the camber, opening up all the other places where the umpires and all the other players go to, canoe.
And as if the secretary's job isn't enough, Cheryl also doubles as the bar manager and match manager, as well as filling in as official club runner.
Josh! But I just like being around the boys. Even I've got a 16-year-old of my own, and he come in for 2 years and played. Now he's in Hobart, so he doesn't come home often enough to play now. But when you've got young boys that he's gone to school with and they're coming up through the ranks, it's just nice to see them and watch them play. I'm here from probably 8:30 till about 2 a.m. Go home, sit and have a cup of coffee and crawl out of bed and do the rest of the paperwork on the Sunday. So, yeah, away games is no problem. It's your home games that take the amount of organising. By the time you're organising to all your stock take for your bar and your canteen, and then you've got your can bar across the road, plus club rooms have to be cleaned and things like that. Showers have got to be done, yeah, so...
Robin Folds is the Crows' trainer. Every home game at midday on the dot, Robin closes up the shoe shop and heads to the football ground. Her long love affair with the club began in the 1970s.
My son got a very bad injury. Pretty good little player he was, and I didn't like the way they sort of handled the situation and told them as such. A couple of weeks later, the president of the Queenstown Football Club said to me, how about coming on board? And I said I'd come on board on one condition, that they treat me like their mother and I'd treat them like a son.
What other job could you imagine that you'd have these beautiful men, look at them, lining up, saying, I want to be next? Is that true?
Only because we all want you, Robin.
No! That's what I mean.
These boys that I've had from under 14s, they're grown men now, they've got their own family. You stay with people 28 years and they become your family. It's a small community, and I think in a small community people are aware that, you know, you've got to be close. I've come here to die, so 2,000 people here, and I never intend to go anywhere else.
Yeah, a little bit nervous today, actually. First game of the year. Yeah.
First game as captain?
First game as captain, so yeah, that's probably maybe a bit nervous. I've been nervous for a few years now. Still been playing long enough.
The first game of the season is against an inexperienced team from Natone.
On the on-ballers, make sure they don't run like packs. Like packs of wolves around the ball, all right? We want to get numbers around the ball, but we want to space it with the feet of handball back 10 metres, all right? Tell them to feed it back 10 and then run it forward. Use your patience, all right? It's not all about running and gunning. All right, like we've been talking about, OK? Chris, a little bit of talk up there. I know you're only young, but you need to talk. Daniel, have another spell. Daniel, where are you? Have another spell.
Like, they weren't coming up man up unless they had 3 blokes running in the centre each time.
Yep.
I told Big Bird to come back. It's raining.
In typical Queenstown conditions, the Crows are much too good.
Where we going, boys?
Brett's premiership campaign is off to a flying start.
Thanks, Cyril.
I tried to talk Bubby into doing this because Bubby does the other set of Guernseys, and I said it'll be good for her because she's been around the club longer than me, but she wouldn't come to the party. So...
Rosie Wedd heads up the ladies' committee. They raise money for the club by catering, weddings, parties, anything. Tonight they're preparing a mega roast for an annual dinner that celebrates men who worked at the mine for 25 years or more.
Who would cater the way those people do? You know, and you look at some of the ages of some of them, you know, they're a little bit more than 21. They have that happy knack of being able to work out where you can raise money, or if you've got a problem, they seem to be the ones to be able to overcome some of the problems that we do have within the club.
And tonight, Robin has swapped the tracksuit for a more formal outfit.
You know, they're always there behind, running raffles, baking, cooking, ironing, mending, all the jumpers, washing. They're always there, but probably now a bit more prominence is attached to it.
Can I get a
I came with my husband, who was transferred here as Inspector of Police, and my son came 2 years later, and he was killed at the mine 4 years ago, and I've been here ever since. Oh, well, I enjoy it, you know, it gets me out of the house and on my own and company. And they're a wonderful lot of women.
Thank you very much.
At training on Thursday, there's some good news for Brett and the team. Mark Gottliebsen is back in town after a few years away. At almost 200 centimetres in height, he'll be a welcome signing for the Crows.
I've got to work on Saturday, so I don't think I'll be playing then, so probably a few weeks, but that'll suit me fine. Yeah, nice short season, that'll do me fine. Start corkscrewing around beside the open cut.
Mark heads up a mine rescue unit. He joins a long list of miners that have played a role in Queenstown football. But these days, being a miner and a footballer isn't easy because of the new shift rosters. When it comes down to a choice between job and sport, the job usually wins.
At the moment, I'm 8 on 6 off, so every second weekend I'm working, but we're sort of working around the system to get me playing on those Saturdays. Are you up at the crusher at the moment? Yeah. Now that the mining company is a lot more even time, we get a lot of people living away because they only have to be down here for 4 or 5 nights and then can live where they want to live. But I think coming back again to looking after the town a bit better, I think they've realised that, yeah, if you're looking after the blokes in every way, you know, then they're better workers.
Today the Crows are playing Burnie, a city with almost 10 times the population of Queenstown. They're the top team and the benchmark for the competition. This is an important win for the club. It could set up their whole finals campaign.
When they got that goal, that last goal, why he got 2 50-metre penalties.
Might have been a good thing.
Get in there and give her a ball. Come on, Jellyfish. Sitting second, so we fight the third spot at the moment, so to get over the line is good. It's good.
Yeah, they beat us here last year, so similar sort of game. We got in front early and then they overran us, but this year we got one back on.
For the full 4 quarters, there was blokes talking. Like Gobber said there at half time, that's what gets you over the line. If you've got someone encouraging you and telling you to push and work and work and work, you'll work for your teammate, all right? Very proud of you today. Get here tonight. Support the club here tonight.
The club raises most of its funds through functions at the club rooms, but in the middle of a cold, wet winter, it can be difficult getting a crowd.
Our bar's our main revenue. If we don't have a bar, we've got no money. So it's just as simple as that.
Tonight they've lashed out for a live band, but it still looks like being a pretty blokey affair. Right on 10 o'clock, the girls arrive en masse and the night begins to warm up. It's the last home game of the season. If the Crows win, they can hold on to 3rd spot and earn a double chance in the finals. If they lose, they'll drop to 4th and play a sudden death semi-final next week.
It's very important. It decides today between us and Yolla who finishes 3rd on the ladder. Well, they're a similar breed of people to what we are, you know. They live out the back and they sort of make their own fun amongst themselves like we do here.
So how's the full moon?
Yeah, struggling through injury, mate.
Yeah?
What are you going to do with that? Catching up with me a bit, I think.
With the rain bucketing down and the temperature in single figures, the conditions are made for the Crows. But from the very start, they seem lethargic.
You know why we're behind? We've got one bastard playing in front. Back line playing behind, forward line playing behind. Get your finger out of your bloody arse and put your body on the line and put the bloody thing in front. All right? It's up the ground and leave the gaps, right? But then you've got to be prepared to run to the contest, all right?
Brett's impassioned plea seems to fall on deaf ears, and they are well beaten.
Right, very disappointing today. Yep. All right, well, she's on now, isn't it? We know where we're at now. If we lose next week, we're gone. We're out the back door. Our ground, our conditions, we didn't come to play. We better come to play next week. Come on, boys.
Second to the ball all day, so didn't deserve to win.
Can you fix it in a week?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, well, we know our scenario now. Just keep winning. Train hard for a week, play hard for a week.
A week later, and the sun is shining on the coastal city of Burnie. This is the venue for the elimination final between the Crows and their arch enemies from Cuprona.
You bring the good weather with you.
How you going?
All right.
Yeah.
For Robin, Brett and Brendan, there's a lot riding on this one. They've all talked about retiring at the end of the year, so this could be their last game.
A few people are sort of getting on and probably sort of indicated during the year and end of last year that this was probably going to be it. So, yeah, she's a big game.
What about you? Will you be back next year?
Probably not.
Yes?
Probably not, yeah.
Why's that?
Just aching. Yeah.
Get harder to come back, is it?
Yeah, no. Ankles are about shot. They've been bad for a while, but put up with it at the moment. But, yeah.
No, I've been a bit crook. I've had tonsillitis for the whole week, but yeah, no, starting to get back on track now. I feel a bit better the last couple of days.
So it's do or die today?
She's do or die. We were going to sing that club song at the end and take that next week, and hopefully we can get into next week's first semi-final. So.
Boys are quiet, might be a good sign. We're going to win. I can't sing out to them today, I'll only be dancing. When I can't sing out, I'll just...
We'll make sure we can.
I'm asking the boys to keep going to play up to the grand final on my birthday. First time ever.
Make sure it's in the back of our mind, remember, the coach don't respect us, doesn't rate us, doesn't think we should be here.
That's a big ground, all right? Okay, it's not like our ground where it's confined, all right? We play up a bit. All right, there's no excuses today, folks.
Not at all.
I spoke about a couple of weeks ago about the blokes. I listened, ifs and buts, ifs and buts. There's no ifs and buts today. There's none whatsoever. I haven't done all this bloody training since bloody December, all right, to go out and friggin' make... Okay, the only way we're going to do that today, when you get the opportunity to hit, you bump, you hit fair. Yep. All right, okay? Put your head over the bloody footy and take it with you. Okay, we're not used to these conditions where the ball bounces around, but today you need to get used to it.
Rosie Wedd leads the big contingent of Crows supporters.
Come on, Chris. Stand up. Good boy. Good try.
G'day, John.
Maybe it's because they're playing on grass, but the Crows start slowly.
Don't let your player lead you to the football. All right, you've got to take the initiative and think of the ball's got to come. You're the player to go and get it. All right, open the forward line up. You know our forward line's set up. Let's go. All right, open it up. Give them space to move. Come on, come on. Let's get 5 or 6 goals. Come on!
Come on. That's better.
Crows are still behind, but not by that much. The last quarter will be do or die. Brett knows it, and the players know it too.
How many 50-metre penalties do you want to give away? That's the only reason they're in front, because we're bloody undisciplined. Yeah. All right? Bloody oath, I tell you what, you can be frustrating at times. All right, so pick your bloody heads up. All right, dig bloody deep and get a bit of heart in the bloody chest. All right, and have a bloody dip. All right, because I don't expect anything else. All right, you can bloody young Weddy out there, 15 bloody years of age, and he's having a dip. What's wrong with the bloody rest of you? Have you got any bloody heart? Come on, boys. I bloody expect to come on this ground with a bloody win, and I expect you to bloody do it hard. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, boys.
It's hard going on the big ground, but the supporters are with them to the end.
I'd just like to thank Jono, Rosie, all my coaching staff, Dasher for being runner, the training staff, Cheryl, match manager, thank you very much, Robin, DJ Robin. All right, we've only got a few trainers, but they do a bloody excellent job every week, week in, week out. All right, just like to thank the guys. You know who you are, the guys that put in all year. All right, thank you very much. All right, it's been a pretty good effort. All right, other than that, I can't say much, fellas. I'm just very disappointed.
I was devastated, absolutely devastated. Like, while they had the last 15 minutes of the quarter to play, went to the change rooms and started organising, packing up some gear. I really, really thought our senior side could have gone all the way, but just that day just wasn't meant to be. For Brett and for Brendan, because like Brendan said, it's probably going to be his last year and it was his first year as captain too. I think it would have been a great thing for him to be able to take him and go that way and bring home the flag to us, but it just wasn't meant to be.
I think just overall we just lacked a little bit of passion, I think, just to go that next step and get over the line, and Caprona wanted it on the day and showed us that they could play in an elimination final and we didn't.
I was pretty disappointed, I must admit that. I'm always disappointed when you get that far and you lose. But like I've said to a lot of the young ones, really and truly, a couple of years down the track, nobody will remember who won. As long as you get 100% and you know you've given 100%, don't worry about winning and losing. Some of those kids, 16, 15, 16 years old, fantastic. They're, you know, like their mothers and fathers, they must have been very, very proud of them. I mean, many years ago, I had a 16-year-old playing in a grand final, and fantastic, fantastic feeling. And these kids, they give everything they've got. They're there every Tuesday, they're there every Thursday, just hoping to get a game.
As Brett and Brendan move on, one constant remains, the symbol that is the heart of this tough and proud town, the gravel. In 2007, Queenstown Oval was inducted into Tasmania's Football Hall of Fame.
Over its 100 years, it's skinned the knees and scarred many a player, but now it's set to make another mark. It's called the Oval, and it's simply called the Gravel. It's being inducted now into the state's Football Hall of Fame because it's a football pitch to end all football pitches.
Football team, yeah, my football team.